Good afternoon, good evening. We're in the evening hours. 16 on. It's at the 6:30. Outkast, number 14, 14th greatest group of all time. And Andre 3000, big boy, man. It speaks for itself what they did for the South, man. The South had something to say, and they definitely had something to say. That's what, you know, Andre 3000 said at the Social Awards '95, and he definitely represent that with their actions. They did have something to say, and they proved it. Definitely proved it. You know, good boy Andre 3000, man. '94 Southern Playlist Cali music was a classic. Produced by Organized Noise, funk and soul, and Players Ball. The title track, Get Up, Get Out. You know, Bruce's album was a classic. So it made that album definitely represent that the East and the West, of course, had to recognize that the South had to be paid attention to. And then you got 30 years later, 30 years ago, 1996, 96, 2 years later at that time, that was the 30th anniversary of AC Aliens, came out with another classic, the title track, Elevators, Jazzy Bell. Then 2 years later, that album went double platinum. Then 2 years later, they make Aquemini, that talk about, you know, human nature, addiction, relationships. The album was based on two zodiac signs, and that went double platinum. Songs like Rosa Parks, Get on the Barbie, or Storytelling. They made 3 consecutive albums that were classic. And then in 2000, Stay Going, that went quadruple platinum. Hits kept coming like Bombs on the Bad Bad, Miss Jackson, and So Fresh, So Clean. So Outkast definitely showed that they could do the impossible and create their own niche in the hip hop game, doing things in a southern way, or doing things. And I think that's what they did. That's why they won the greatest. That's why I had to put them in my top 15, man. You talk about the greatest groups, they deserve to be in that top 15 category because of what they did as a group. So let's get into more reasons why they are one of the greatest groups of all time. Why is that? Because they revolutionized the sound, putting the American South on the map, blending of funk, jazz, and soul, you know, styles we define rap. And then, like I said, they proved right when they said that Andre 3000 said the South got something to say. They proved it. You know, they let the floodgates go out into, you know, the southern hip hop scene was never the same. For a good reason, because they was able to dominate and have their own lane, and the South took over once he said that. How everything had to be done through action and through the music production. But once, you know, he said that, then everything just changed with the music and the impact of it. Because East Coast and the West Coast was dominating the hip hop game, you know, not the Midwest. You know, it was the East Coast and the West Coast. So once the South took over with the music that they were doing, it would be Outkast, would it be Goody Mob, would it be T.I., would it be Chris or anybody else, you know, it just took it over. It's been like that ever since. So, and both these guys were different. You know, Andre was very eccentric. He could sing, had his own style. And Big Boy was a slick talking, smart, street smart anchor. You know, they did a lot of great things with their sound. You know, Speaking Box, The Love Below, in 2003. You know, they was able to win Album of the Year. So they definitely paved the way for Kendrick Lamar's, the Tyler Creators, and Childish Gambino. Those guys definitely represented. So that's basically it. Why I think they are one of the greatest, you know, top 15 groups of all time in hip hop history. So that's basically it. So that's it for that. Thanks for 3 people hitting the like button. Hope you subscribe to the channel. I'll come back at 7:15 with another one. So then, talk to you soon.